Hi, everyone. I am Shan.
And I am Tam. This is the Real Talk Podcast.
On this podcast, we have some candid conversations between us about love, family, faith, relationships, parenting, work-life balance, and everything in between.
We invite you to not only listen, but interact with us and our guests as we have some real
talk. Hello, Shan and Tam fam. We're back again with another episode. Today, we're going to talk about forgiveness and the challenges or the different emotions that people experience through this journey of forgiveness and the hurts and the pain. Tam, what are your thoughts on this topic, on the whole journey of forgiveness?
Wow, this is really, it's a heavy topic,
Mm-hmm.
And thinking about us going into talking about it, it really made me be like self-reflective, because as much as we often want to think that we are usually the victims and we are wronged in so many ways, I don't think we often stop to think about the hurt that we may have caused to other people. And it's a hard thing to face, right? Because I don't think anybody wakes up necessarily wanting to be the bad guy, right? And when you really look at yourself in the sense that, you know what, I may have said or done something to somebody that really was not nice, it wasn't good, and it may have hurt them, it's kind of a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, it's hard, but that self-reflection piece is key because, as you said, sometimes when you go through situations, it's easy to point blame at the other person, but it always takes two, right? So I think we also have to look at the part and the role that we might have played in the hurt, right? And how we can move forward, but forgiveness, it's a tough thing, right? And one of the things that I struggled with or continue to struggle with is that whole concept of forgiveness and maintaining relationships, right? Does forgiveness mean that you have to bring back the person in your space? You have to maintain that relationship? Or can you forgive them in your heart and just not maintain the relationship that you had before? I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I totally understand you. And that it really is an interesting question to ask, because I think we often think that forgiving somebody means that you're totally opening up yourself to that person again, maybe in the same way that you had before. And I don't think so. And I don't think that is necessary, or that's a necessary part of forgiveness, because it might mean that, yes, you forgive the person, and that really is about letting go the anger and the frustration, pain or hurt that you had, right, from that relationship. But it doesn't mean that it was a healthy relationship for you to be in, or
exactly.
And when I'm saying relationship for you to be in, I'm not talking about that in the sense that it's like an intimate relationship or something. Like, it could be anybody. It could be a member of your family. It could be a friend.
Exactly.
It could be even a coworker. I feel like with forgiveness, you have to analyze what got you to the point where you're in a position where you have been hurt, and for you to do something about that, because it might mean that you're going to change that relationship, right?
Exactly.
Even being involved with the person. I think of it in terms of drawing boundaries. So you may have hurt me. Yeah, you may have hurt me. I choose to forgive you because I want to let go of that, but I'm not going to allow you to do that anymore. I don't know what you think about
that.
I
think that's key, right? And as you say, it can be different people that has hurt you, family members, friends, intimate partners, right? But you have to be able to draw that healthy boundary. It doesn't mean that you're going to hold up the person in your heart. It just means that you're able to move forward. And it's interesting because the other day I was doing a devotion and it was talking about forgiveness. And it's like holding on to the hate and the bitterness is like drinking poison and thinking it's going to kill the other person, right? When in fact, it's really killing you, right? Because when you hold on to all that toxic stuff, right, the hate and the anger and the hurt, it's really you're the person that's suffering, not the other person, right? Because the devotion went ahead to go ahead to say the other person may have been gone on with their life, doing what they're doing, living their life while you're still at a space where you're so angry and upset, right? Your heart is not free. Right. So, and to bring it back to that point, forgiveness is really not for those who have hurt us. It's really for us.
Yeah.
Right. It's really for us to be free, for us to be healed. But it's so easier said than done. And it's just a journey. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
People, take years, people take months, people take days. And even through that forgiveness process is that whole grieving process as well, too. Right. And you're just going through all the mixed emotions and everything, because when people hurt you, especially those who you love, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough.
Going back to 2 points that you talked about there, just looking at the definition of forgiveness, I looked at Wikipedia. The definition that it has there for forgiveness is that in a psychological sense, it's the intentional and voluntary process by which one may initially feel victimized, undergoes a change in feelings and attitude regarding a given offense, and overcomes negative emotions such as resentment and vengeance, however justified it might be. So that's the definition. And that really spoke to everything that you just said, right? That, something may have been done to you. And that process of forgiveness is really not about the other person. It is about you and what you choose to harbor and hold on to, and how that affects you. Because, interestingly enough, as I was kind of looking at stuff regarding the topic of forgiveness, things that we could share with our listeners, Johns Hopkins Medical Center actually says that in studies that they've done, that forgiveness is actually good for your physical health.
Absolutely. I can't believe that.
Yeah. And I thought, absolutely, I can see that, because they said that they have seen where it reduces effects on your health, such as heart attacks and blood pressure and all of that. Think about when you really hold up somebody in your heart, like we would say.
Yeah, exactly. It kills you.
It kills you, literally. You feel it coursing through your veins sometimes when you think about, what somebody may have done for you. And think about that being a constant in your life. Like, how good is that for you physically? Never mind how good it is for you mentally, but how good is that for you physically? And do we want to remain there? Yeah. Do we want to remain in that space and to have that in our body?
And that's the thing, because it's like poison. And that's what I said. It's like you drinking poison, think the other person is going to die. But in fact, you're the one that's suffering. You're the one that's thinking about it. You're the one that's experiencing the harm, right? So really forgive them, not necessarily because, you're going through the pain and, you think whatever, but forgive them because you want peace. You want peace, and the peace that comes to you.
Let me ask you something. Do you think, 2 things, do you think you have to forget about it when you forgive the person? How do you think that plays into the act of forgiveness and maintaining that peace within your system?
I don't think you necessarily forget. And you know, people say forgive and forget. It's easier said than done. You forgive, but I think it's always there in your subconscious mind. You don't
Yeah.
totally forget it. You don't, right? And that's why you create boundaries. That's why you create healthy boundaries, because you don't forget, right? It's not to
Yeah.
say you're holding up the person. You can look at it two ways.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive and forget means that you're not gonna bring it up to them all the time. A
Mm-hmm.
conversation come up, right? You're not gonna throw it in their face.
Mm-hmm.
But do you completely forget about it? I don't think so.
I don't think so neither.
I don't think so.
I don't think so neither.
No, no.
But you know what? I think it is how you think about it, or how you might choose to remember it. Maybe not choose to remember it, but how you think about it. So let's say, you know, somebody does cause you hurt or harm, right? Can we stop to think about where that person is coming from, or where they're living in their space that may have caused them to do what they did?
Yeah.
Don't you think that will probably give you some level of empathy towards the person that can lead to your forgiving the person?
I think so, because I think we have to look at everything from context too, because hurt people hurt others, right? And if sometimes people just don't know, right? They just don't know. And if you really take a step back and look at their life and different things that makes them a person, yeah, you can more empathize with them, right? And as we said, Tam, we all have gone through phases and stages of our life where, yes, we've experienced hurt, but we've given hurt. Right. And I think too, if we are able to step into people's shoes and understand certain things, we can empathize with them. I do believe so.
Real talk.
You
know, easy though, you know.
No, it's not
easy.
It's not. It's not.
I was thinking about this too. I'm like, you know, I've been vexed with one person in particular I can't think of.
Yeah.
You know, so I've been vexed with that person all my life, from like teenage years. And
oh wow.
Honestly, me not remember what they do me.
That's what I'm saying. You don't remember, because the time passed. You can't remember what them do you.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah.
But I know, like, inside of me, I'm not supposed
You're upset.
Yeah, like I'm supposed to be upset.
I'm not supposed to chat to her.
How
but you can't remember what you're pissed off about.
How ridiculous is that?
That's the thing.
And it was years ago. It was years ago that I said to myself, I'm like, what? Well, granted, the fact was that I have not seen this person in umpteen years. Me, I talk about from your like teenager.
Oh wow. Right? But you just know saying in your heart, saying you're not supposed to chat to them.
And it was years later that I said to myself, really? You know, if I even do see this person again, like, what am I mad about? What was it that they did to me? Me no know.
And maybe I carry it up like that in your heart.
Exactly. And maybe at that point in my life, later years, if I had seen them, I'm thinking what I may have considered to be done ill to me when I was a teenager was probably
it doesn't matter
nothing.
Right now. Exactly. Get over it, right? Listen to me, Tam. I remember something a few years ago I saw. This was an older woman, and this man killed her son. And she actually went to the courtroom and started writing this young man letters in jail, right? And he started communicating with her, the same man that killed her son. And can I tell you, from this woman's forgiveness, her writing and teaching him about forgiveness and love and Christ, it transformed that man's life. And I'm saying to myself, I don't even know, right? And when you talk about the power of forgiveness and stuff like that, that is just on a different level.
Yeah.
Right? Because this man killed her son. And she wrote letters, she went to the court hearing and everything. And it's like, she really felt for him.
Yeah.
The same thing that you were saying just now, when you know people's situation, you have a different outlook and context. But I'm like, it's tough. It's tough
Yeah.
and it's hard.
And I don't know. I don't know if I could have been there in my
Exactly.
pain, right? But here's one thing that actually, again, is one of the ways that you can move yourself into the path of forgiveness is they say that you can find meaning in your pain. Now, if we really stop and think about that woman, you know, I'm sure she probably wasn't thinking that, I don't know, she was going to be leading somebody to Christ in doing that act. You know what I mean? But look at the meaning out of the pain that has been caused to her. Honestly, Shan, real talk, I don't know if me could have went do it.
I don't know if I could do. So I say everybody have them journey, right?
Know.
I don't know if I could have the capacity to do that.
Let us continue to pray that we would be able to. If ever presented with any issues like that, because you know we hold firm to our faith.
Yes.
What are we if we don't believe and
live it?
Yes, right.
Live it, right? And we have to, and that's the thing, you know, the Bible talks about, you know, we have to forgive others, you know, and forgive them of their sins if we want the Father to also hear our prayers. And it's just, you know, at time it comes down to a point of humility. Humility, right? Humility, because at the end of the day, we're all imperfect beings. Are we all the wrong? Right? We've all hurt somebody. People have hurt us. We've hurt people with our words. We've hurt people with our actions. But are you going to hold on to that? Try to let go and forgive. Real talk.
Real talk. Okay, so two other things. So there is what I struggle with right now too, in terms of this whole forgiveness piece, is that where you might be able to forgive or willing to forgive, how does that impact the other person? And I know you just talked about an example where that, you know, the lady and her son haven't been taken away and she communicated with the assailant and stuff, right? But let us, even if we're not thinking about something as serious, let's think about just probably a friend or somebody who has hurt us that we choose to forgive. How do we go about making that person know that they're forgiven? I don't know. What you think?
mean if you're not talking to the person?
Yeah, like like you might choose to, in drawing your boundaries, cut off that relationship, not speak to them or what have you, not engage in the way that you normally would have. But how I guess my question is it important for the person to know that you've forgiven them? That's my question. What do you think about that?
And I think people have different perception of this. Some people would say you need to let them know that you forgive them.
Okay.
But my thing is that if your actions are showing, if you see the person in a room with people and you pass the person and say, you know, good morning or good afternoon, it shows. You know when somebody not like you, and you know when somebody have you up. You know what I mean? Real talk.
Real talk.
You know when somebody not in you, when you see when you see them, you cut your whole attitude. You just
your body language. Yeah, your body language
tells,
changes. Yeah,
right. But when you're at a place of peace with a situation and you see the person, they can know and sense from your whole demeanor and everything. So I think it's just perception. It's up to you. I think it's a personal choice. If you want to go to the person and say, I forgive you, if you feel convicted. But I also think as well too, when they see you, they'll know that you let it go just by how you even interact with them. It's not that you tell them your business.
Yeah.
It's not that you're creating the boundaries, but just in how you speak with them, with respect, with kindness, right? How you interact with them, because you let it go. So I think it's really up to a person, if you feel convicted that in your heart that you need to verbally say to the person, I forgive you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I agree with that. I think for me, I think it's situational. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think in every instance you have to make that person be aware that you have forgiven them. I think it's enough for you to know with for yourself, because we already talked about the fact that
Mm-hmm.
forgiveness is mostly for you, that you've forgiven them, you've let it go. Those negative
Exactly.
feelings don't come with that person. But I also feel like, I guess, based on what the relationship may be, if it is somebody that you need to interact with, on an ongoing basis, or you choose to, and you feel it's necessary, then
Mm-hmm.
you can say, you know what, I've
I
forgiven you.
forgive you. Yeah,
Yeah, and let's move
right?
on. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you look at it for context too, your
Yeah.
intimate relationship with your partner.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, in situations like that, yeah, you're gonna say, because
Yeah.
only in the same space, you know
I
what I
know.
mean?
Right.
So at some point, you guys have to come and take some accountability and say, I forgive you. But if it's a situation where you're not seeing the person regularly, it's based on context
Yeah.
and your conviction, if and when and if you feel like you have to verbalize it.
All right. The last point when we think we can probably talk on, how about forgiving ourselves?
Why that is a tough one, because I think we're our
Right.
own worst enemy sometimes, and when God threw it into the sea of forgetfulness,
Mhm.
we bring it back up. And then when every bad thing happen, we say, yes, I become and did do that thing there, God have punish me. No, me sure say a lot of people can't say
Real
that. I
talk.
mean, real talk. Because me did go do that, God have punish me. Trust me. Trust me. Don't it this week I said that, right? Yes, I become me did do that. If me never go there, this would have happened.
I know, right? So
Mercy.
mercy indeed, because for me, I get flashbacks, right?
Yeah.
I get flashbacks of, like, what on earth was I thinking
Me
when I
always say
did
that
or
too.
said this
Mm-hmm.
or what have you, right? And but a pivotal point in my life was when I actually got saved and was
Mm-hmm.
baptized. And
Mm-hmm.
I realized that if
Mm-hmm.
as I was making that commitment and standing on the belief of everything that brought me to that space, that I
Yes.
am convicted, I am a follower of Christ, and I am going to
Yes.
live that certain life, I
Amen.
realized then and there, Shan, that I had to
Yes.
forgive myself of everything that I had
Everything.
ever done. That was because I'm
Yeah.
like, really, what's the point of it? What's
Yeah.
what's
We have to forgive ourselves. And you're
because
right. But Christ forgave us.
exactly, that is what I'm
Mm-hmm.
claiming. I am
Mm-hmm.
claiming his forgiveness right now. So who am I to
Mm-hmm.
say that I can't forgive myself if I'm
Mm-hmm.
accepting the fact that he has now forgiven me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? And I think on a daily basis we struggle with a lot of that.
And it's a negative self-talk and a negative self-doubt,
That
right? And
yes.
the feelings of unworthiness that we
Mhm.
all are guilty of, right? And you said it perfectly, Tom. If Christ died on that cross to take away our sins, why should we keep punishing ourselves,
Mhm.
right? Why should we keep telling ourselves that we're not good enough, or we're not good enough for this, or we're not good enough for that, and we deserve this? No, God let it go. So we need to also claim it and let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's our episode for today.
Listen to me, and there's so much more we can say on this topic, but I would love for the viewers to leave a comment. Let us know about your journey with forgiveness. What does forgiveness look like for you? Do you feel like you have to maintain a relationship
Mhm.
after forgiveness? Like, what are your thoughts?
Yes, absolutely. We'd love to hear from you, fam. Remember to find our podcast on Spreaker,
Why,
SPREAKER.com.
that is a tongue twister.
May I tell you? But it's real talk with Shan and Tam. And we're also on Spotify.
Yes.
So just go to your search, type in Real Talk with Shan and Tam. We're on Spreaker, Spotify. Check out our Facebook page at Real Talk with Shan and Tam. And it's also on our YouTube channel where episodes get posted, Shan and Tam.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, Sam.
Bye.